While I was trapped on Devil's Rock, a map of the world wasn't going to be much use to me. A painted globe stood at the top of the stairs. The pinpricks across its surface implied it had either been used to plot out perilous voyages across the ocean waves or served as a replacement dartboard. An elegant glass-paneled cabinet stood against the wall, holding billiards equipment and a sparkling trophy in the shape of an 8-ball. The cabinet was locked. It was a small but sharp fishing knife. The ceiling fans were on. The room was dominated by a large wooden billiard table, its hand-carved Baroque cabinet presenting a sharp contrast to the faded and ripped baize that topped it. I considered playing a game, but the lack of balls and cues was going to be a roadblock. A cube of billiard chalk was left on the rim of the table. I picked up the cube of billiard chalk from the edge of the table. There was a small electric switch on the wall. The switch seemed to control the ceiling fans. The ceiling fans were off. The ceiling fans were off. I couldn't do that. Nope. I couldn't do that. The door was locked. The glass front would have shattered if I tried to force it open, and I didn't want to get kicked out of the captain's club so soon after getting in. I waited for the doors of the elevator to open, but nothing happened.
If you wish to use the elevator, I'm afraid to tell you it's broken. You'll have to endure the stairs.
Fair enough. I had nothing else to say to Felix, and I doubted he had anything to say to me. I had nothing else to say to Felix, and I doubted he had anything to say to me. The fisherman sat on the edge of the dock looking as content as a cat with a can of tuna, and with the same smell, too. I decided to leave Ned to his fishing. I had more important things to do than fish.
You've returned. Have you found all the ingredients and placed them in the Gri-Gri?
Not yet, but I'm working on it. I'm going to go and find the voodoo ingredients.
Hurry back.
The balcony was broken where I'd been thrown out of Abigail's bedroom. From the ground, I didn't have a clear view through the balcony doors, but that didn't stop me from knowing the dark magic that went on beyond that broken glass. Belmore Manor stood proudly and enigmatically at the center of the estate. Who knew what had gone on inside its walls? From the outside, I couldn't spot any clues to the location of the Belmore treasure. I went to open the door into Belmore Manor, but the key was gone. I was sure I'd left it in the lock. That didn't work. I needed to think of something else. I didn't want to make a hole in that. I didn't need... Nope. That wasn't going to work. I didn't... That didn't work. I didn't need... I didn't... The wheel was too heavy. An old carriage wheel sat discarded in the grass. Nope. I needed to think of something else. The coffin lid had been nailed down securely. A shabby-looking coffin lay A coffin sat up. A mischievous idea began to form in my mind. Hey, I think the guy inside here might still be alive.
And why would you think something like that?
The coffin was just shaking around. Maybe you should open it up.
Well, I didn't see it move.
The gravedigger had me in a conundrum. I could hardly start shaking it right in front of his eyes.
And unless the body inside starts jiggling around, I'm not opening up that coffin.
I tied the twine to the uneven table and took up a hiding spot behind a nearby wall. It was time to wake the dead. Hello? Hello? Why is it so dark in here?
Huh? Who's that?
I'm stuck! Help! Help!
Mallory, if that's you again.
Get me out of this thing!
Oh no, not again! Mister, are you okay? I'm so sorry. I was told... Mister? Oh, God darn it! Next time I see that girl, I'm gonna have a peewee-sized coffin all ready for her. A few hours locked in one of those should adjust her sense of humor.
Searching the dead man's body was not something I wanted to do. I picked up the handful of discarded coffin nails from the tin. I placed the coffin nails in the Gri-Gri. It was a small leather pouch with a drawstring. I'd marked off the... It was a man... I placed the chalk into the Gri-Gri. Hello, Edgar.
Yeah!
Who is it you're burying?
This is Theodore Grimes. He was the...
Comptroller for Juniper Parish?
That's right. You knew him?
We were supposed to have a meeting. Clearly he's going to miss it.
Sure is. Now he's the late Comptroller Grimes.
I best be running along.
Goodbye.
Now that I'd looked upon the lifeless face of Comptroller Grimes, it didn't feel appropriate to give his coffin a wiggle. I didn't need... Nope. With the newly polished brooch gleaming, I angled it towards the lantern, catching the light and reflecting a red beam on the wall. I took a handful of the spilled gunpowder. I needed to think of... I placed the gunpowder into the Gri-Gri. I took a handful of the spilled gunpowder. It was the gunpowder barrel the cat had knocked over, now spilling out its contents. I jiggled. Nope. A bottle lay half buried in the sand, soon to be covered over by the swash of the waves. As I picked up the bottle, I anticipated what could be inside. A brine-stained treasure map, perhaps, or a scribbled plea from a castaway desperately awaiting rescue. Looking inside, I found it was empty. The only writing on it was the embossed glass letters of the Orangello Soda Company. I filled the bottle with rum pouring from the barrel. Relief washed over me at the realization that I'd done it without getting caught by the two rum runners.
Hey, Musket! There's someone out here!
Or so I thought.
Hey, fella, what do you think you're doing snooping around here? This is our church, you know, and it's closed.
I'm just here to do some praying. Mainly praying that I get out of this situation without a puncture wound.
He's being a wise guy, Musket.
Time to fill him full of lead.
But boss, it's bad luck to bump someone off in a churchyard.
Now, where'd you hear a nonsensical thing like that?
I thought churches was hallowed ground, where sin and immorality would face supernatural punishment in this world or the next.
Where do you get this stuff from? I told you, I do the thinking in this partnership.
I didn't... The burlap sack was too thick to cut through with... I cut into the sack with the knife, revealing it to be full of corn. I took the corn from the sack. I scattered the corn on the path. Mere seconds later, it attracted the attention of the curious chicken. If the chicken didn't want me to touch it, perhaps a blast of air could do the trick. It was a handful of white chicken feathers.
Anything to report?
I'm keeping my eyes open. Delicately, I dipped the feathers into the canister of ink. When they emerged, they were dyed jet black. I placed the feathers into the Gri-Gri. I'd done it. All 7 ingredients for the summoning spell. Now I needed to head back to the Spirit Queen.
I thought I'd find you out here, McAllen.
How did you get out here before me?
Never mind that. This will be the last time, McAllen. I'm not your secretary. I don't know what you're up to out here, but I'll figure it out soon enough. But for now, let's hurry it up. These shoes are alligator skin, and I don't want the local fauna recognizing an old friend. Another telegram came through for you, marked urgent. Kip said you might be out here.
My boss again?
Got it in one.
McAllen, report back immediately. Received word Grimes is deceased. Lack of resources has made this a waste of time. And I've cottoned onto your little stunt with the Friday signatures. When you get back here, sorting mail is gonna be the least of your worries. Sid Sinclair Auditing Company.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. On a night when I'd just seen a ghost, this telegram was almost more unbelievable. There was more to the Belmore story than I could have ever imagined. Now I was being pulled away to a job I didn't want to work, a life I didn't want to live. Maybe it was time to do something a little foolish. Do I still have that prepaid reply?
Sure do. What do you want it to say?
Tell him I quit. I couldn't believe what I'd done. I'd quit my job and opened the first chapter in my own adventure. But without a job, I didn't have a salary. Without a salary, I wouldn't have a place to live. And it suddenly became more important than ever that I find that treasure. For me this time.
Murphy, have you found all 7 ingredients?
I have.
Wonderful! Now it is time for the final step. Out of the darkness, the sadness, the fear, I command you, my servant, now to appear.
I have returned, Master. What is your desire?
The ingredients have been gathered. The final step of the spell is ready. The focus!
The focus of the spell is whatever you are casting it upon. Belmore Manor is where the ghosts reside. An image of Belmore Manor is what you must use to direct the spell.
Murphy, do you have an image of Belmore Manor we can use? Yes, Murphy, that will work. Place it inside the Gri-Gri as the final ingredient.
I folded the magazine cover and placed it inside the Gri-Gri.
The spell is ready. Finally, the ghosts will be free again. Open the Gri-Gri, Murphy, and that will cast the spell.
With some trepidation, I took the Gri-Gri from my pocket and with a deep breath, opened it.
At last, I am free.
Servant, what's happening?
I was never your servant.
I am your master. You shall do my bidding. I command you.
Foolish mortal, you have served your purpose. No longer do I need to manifest as an ephemeral specter. Now my true spirit form is freed.
Whoa, do as I say.
You are of no more use to me.
I wasn't sure what I'd just seen, but the Voodoo-Feuer raging all around me was all too real. I needed to get out, and fast. As I opened my eyes, I realized I had no idea where I was. Hello? Hello? This wasn't good. I checked my hands and still seemed to be flesh and blood. What's happening? Where am I?
Welcome back to Belmore Manor, Murphy McCallum. We didn't expect to see you again so soon.
What's going on? Am I dead?
Don't be so overdramatic, Murphy. You're still very much alive. But you're the only person in the house that is. I'm afraid your actions have caused a good bit of trouble for us inhabitants of the house.
What's happened?
Let's see if you can figure it out. We're about to play a song, and Murphy McCallum, this one is for you. Alright, all you Belmore Manor ghosts and ghouls, let's take it to a place where voodoo rules. House of spirits, but we know of one with evil intentions and now no preventions to harm that evil scheme. You're now implicated in this complicated supernatural dream. You cast the spell, now the deed is done. Evil's free, the plan has just begun. Without your detection, we'll have no protection from the Machiavellian game. You set the rules, so you have to deduce who is ill and who is to blame. And self-detested, we'll ask you questions 3. Draw clues to solve the mystery. The lover, the poor, the devil, of God. Questions surrounded in doubt. The officer bride, the seller, all died. Murphy, can you figure it out? Can you figure it out? The broken heart stolen by another. Tell us now who is the lover.
think the sailor was the lover.
Someone in love, and their love is true. Is it returned? What is there to do? They're caught in the middle of baffling riddles. Is love what can carry them through? A sense of life, no chance for dawn. Tell us now, who is the pawn?
I think the bride was the pawn.
A bride in love, but in some evil curse, immersed in voodoo and things perverse. She cannot protest, and her mind's now possessed of things that only get worse. Wicked spirits in evil rebel, tell us now, who is the devil?
I think the officer was the devil.
A phantom figure who's now in control. Black magic powers got things he stole. But maybe it's set back, but he's gonna get back, and we're worried that those rabbits go. Maybe you listened and now you've done it. You took the gamble and you have won it. A bride in a spell and a sailor's farewell, and an officer pulling the strings. A hostage filled with voodoo, and yes, we know like you do. To fix it, we'll take some strange things. To test it, we asked you questions 3. You didn't lose, and solve the mystery. The officer, bride, and the sailor all got questions surrounded in doubt. Love with the pawn, the devil upon Murphy, you figured it out. And it's you must, the foolish boss, find treasures trapped in hidden vaults. You may think you are done, but it's all just begun. It's time for the ghostly debut. So say trick or treat, 'cause there's a goal to defeat. And Murphy, we hope that you do. Or guess what? You have to learn to after that too.
I was back in Belmore Manor, and although it was better than being dead, I didn't know what was awaiting me. Huge paintings hung on the walls of the hall.
Who wanders to this ghostly trick? The prey that prays it will be quick. Do not blame that final try, for once he's in, he's sure to die.
Another ghost? Oh, this can't be good.
Welcome back to Belmore Manor, Mr. McCallan. My name is Cordelia Lockett. I do hope I haven't scared you.
To be honest, I've had my fill of ghosts for today. Perhaps I should be running along.
I'm afraid you'll need to come with me. There is someone you need to meet.
Who?
Miss Belmore.
You know, I don't think that would be such a great idea. We met twice already this evening, and I don't think she's taken much of a liking to me. What with throwing me off a balcony and pulling me into a spirit pool. Attempt to kill me once? Shame on you. Attempt to kill me twice? Shame on me, you know? I'll just go. It'll be like I was never here.
It's too late for that, Mr. McCallan. I really must insist.
What have I gotten myself into?
Miss Belmore, Mr. McCallan is here to see you.
I don't see anyone. I'm terribly sorry, Miss Belmore. I wasn't trying to steal from you. I didn't know anybody was still here. And then I've gotten deeper into things than I expected, and... Miss Belmore? Why isn't she saying anything? Why is she crying?
This is all terribly exciting, isn't it? I'm afraid there's much more to this than you realise, Mr. McAllen.
Can she even hear me?
I don't think so, but keep trying to talk to her anyway.
What happened to her?
I can tell you all that I know, if you're brave enough to hear it.
I hope I am.
I was there on that night, all those years ago. And it wasn't Miss Belmore who was to blame. The morning of the wedding, Mr. Rackham left a gift on Miss Belmore's dresser. A small leather pouch with strange beads and strange markings. I shouldn't have been looking, but I saw her open it. It was black magic. Everyone had heard the rumours about Mr. Rackham, but I saw it with my own eyes. Miss Belmore panicked. She threw the pouch into her music box, slammed down the lid to lock it, and threw the brooch into the fireplace. But it was too late. She was losing herself. I could see it in her eyes. Minutes later, she asked me to bring her fiancé to her room. It's bad luck to see the groom before the ceremony. She told him she didn't love him, but I don't think it was her speaking. He begged, he pleaded, his heart broke in two. He was devastated. I saw him head up the staircase to the balcony overlooking the garden. But oh dear, I didn't know what he was going to do. That evening, her wedding to that evil Mr. Rackham began, but it didn't go the way he had planned. Just before Miss Belmore's lips formed the words, "I do," I could see the forces battling inside her. The real love within her resisting the forged compulsion of Mr. Rackham's curse, staring into eyes that were not those of her true love. And that battle of good and evil exploded. Just like that, everyone in the house was gone, trapping us as ghosts to remain here forever. For more than 30 years she's been like this, her mind trapped in an eternal battle between the true love in her heart and the evil magic trying to control her. More than 30 years of never-ending heartbreak. And while Miss Belmore is trapped in torment, do you realise what you've done? You've summoned all the ghosts in the house, including Mr. Rackham, that manipulator, that occultist, that devil, the cause of Miss Belmore's suffering. He's once again free to pursue his evil deeds, because you released him.
If Abigail is under a spell, how is she able to attempt to kill me twice?
Well, it's never happened before. Maybe she's losing the fight against Mr. Rackham's curse, and the evil inside her is growing more powerful. Oh dear, it's almost too terrible to think about, isn't it?
Why is Rackham doing all this? What does he want?
He's after the same thing you are, the Belmore treasure. But he's willing to do a lot more to get it, and he doesn't care who gets hurt in the process. I'd say he's a lot more committed than you are.
I have to do something. How can we stop him?
I'm afraid I don't rightly know. but Miss Belmore might. She managed to break out of the spell once, just at the moment of the explosion when Mr. Rackham tried to carry out the wedding. Perhaps if you take her back to that moment, she might be able to break out of it again. To do that, you'll need to create a love antidote to Mr. Rackham's curse.
How can I create a love antidote?
Look in the mirror. In this reflection, she's as happy as she was on the morning of her wedding. And look, there in front of her, 4 wedding mementos and the echoed music of the wedding march, each one a touchstone of that final happy time. If you could gather those 5 things, perhaps we might bring her back to the moment she escaped the spell, even if just for a moment. There's something else you should know. Mrs. Craddock, the housekeeper, has announced that all wedding preparations are to resume upon the orders of Mr. Rackham. He plans to repeat the wedding tonight. You don't have long.
But what if I break her out of the spell and she is evil now?
I think you'll just have to take that risk.
Maybe I should go. Try to find someone who knows more about this.
Oh, don't you know? You're just as trapped within this house as any of us ghosts. Try the windows, try the doors. We all have 1,000 times. But it's no use. If you want to escape, she's your only hope.
That can't be true. I haven't died. I can't be trapped here forever like you.
In moonlight's glow, a spectral cell, and whispers of an eerie spell. No one hears his silent shout, for once he's in, he can't get out.
No amount of force or technique or desperate longing would open the door. Cordelia was right. I was trapped. And as I looked around at the house that held me, I felt both dead and alive at the same time. Both awake and in a dream, or a nightmare. The only way I could possibly free myself was to gather the 5 items to awaken the Ghost Bride, perhaps giving her a third and final opportunity to kill me.
Hold it right there. The dance is about to begin. I shall deal with you afterwards. The skill, the movement, the passion. It certainly gets the blood pumping. Now then, do you have an invitation?
An invitation?
To the waltz. This celebration is only for wedding guests. We have all manner of help running around the house who certainly aren't invited to the festivities. Imagine the smell. If you want to come in, you'll need to retrieve it. Rules are rules, and it's my job to enforce them. I am Mrs. Elaine Craddock, housekeeper of Belmore Manor. Who are you, anyway?
Murphy McCallan. I'm just a visitor.
Evidently.
I didn't need to involve myself in supernatural small talk. I had a love antidote to make. I didn't need to involve myself in supernatural small talk. Good evening, Mrs. Craddock.
Oh, are you still here?
You need to stop the wedding.
I shall do no such thing. The preparations have begun on the order of Mr. Rackham himself, and I shall see to it personally that his wishes are carried out.
But he wasn't the original groom. He's an imposter.
Another word like that, and I shall have you escorted out of the house.
Good luck trying. I seem to be rather supernaturally stuck here.
Mr. Rackham is a fine man. Motivated, determined, ambitious, rich, and roguishly delectable. Precisely the type of person a well-to-do debutante like Miss Belmore should be marrying.
Not if she doesn't love him.
Love is not important amongst families of blue blood. What matters is lineage, inheritance, and continuity. That last-minute change of heart she had last time was the best decision she ever made. She'll be far better off with Mr. Rackham than she would be with a sailor.
She sputtered the word with such disgust I half expected her to scrub herself clean afterwards.
I mean, really, what was he going to do for her? Fetch her a fish supper, clear the decks, and sing the sailor's hornpipe? Do you get a funny feeling when your wealth keeps on depleting you should never marry sailors when your funds run low?
There are some who think Rackham has duplicitous intentions.
The green-eyed monster! Mr. Rackham is exactly what is needed to get this household back on the straight and narrow.
What do you mean?
I don't like to speak ill of the dead.
Especially now that you're one of them?
Indeed. But I'm afraid that the Belmore brothers were becoming increasingly unusual before their disappearances. Their interests veered away from the economic and turned towards the esoteric. And now look where we are.
You think the Belmore brothers caused you all to be trapped in the house?
Perhaps not directly, but their decisions certainly led to it. To find out the Belmore brothers were inviting sinners into this house when I gave this household the best years of my life.
And the best years of your afterlife now.
I am a servant to serving, but even I have limits.
Please, could you let me in to see the waltz?
Certainly not.
You know, you're the second person tonight that won't let me in somewhere. I'm beginning to take this personally.
The guests at this wedding are titans of industry and jewels of the aristocracy. Industrialists from Chicago, magnates from Philadelphia, dukes from England. And you are?
A now unemployed auditor from Yonkers.
Precisely.
How long have you worked at Belmore Manor?
I've been here since the final finial finished off the cupola. Before even the Belmores themselves moved in, I was getting this house ready for them. It is a position I was bred for. I may not have blue blood, but I should think it's at least a shade of plum. I spent 17 years at some of the most prestigious all-girls schools, you see, followed by training in Blenheim Palace for 3 years, and subsequent coveted positions with some of the finest families in England.
Well, I'm glad you managed to escape all that and come here.
I can quote you Mrs. Beaton's book of household management in my sleep.
It was an interesting offer, but I couldn't think of any situation where I'd need that, short of terminal insomnia. You must know Belmore Manor quite well.
Like the back of my hand. Built between 1885 and 1888 in a mixture of antebellum and Victorian styles, and designed by the Belmore brothers themselves. Until, of course, they disappeared after living here only a year.
Why did they decide to build it on Devil's Rock?
Well, the island is exceptionally well placed for trade between the United States, Europe, and the Caribbean. When the Belmore brothers were looking to relocate, it was Mr. Rackham who recommended Devil's Rock. It's just a pity about the name.
You speak very highly of Mr. Rackham.
The Belmore brothers may have had expertise in exploration, innovation, and public relations, but it was Mr. Rackham that pulled those 3 threads together into the beautiful business tapestry that benefits us all.
Do you know anything about the treasure of Belmore Manor?
The stuff of whimsy. The Belmore family had their capital invested in stocks and bonds, not hoarded in a heap like some fairy tale dragon. And don't even think about snooping around the house looking for anything, or I shall have you removed from the premises. If anyone would know of a secret treasure hidden in this house, it would be me.
Thank you for your help.
Goodbye. Stop right there, young man. Only guests with invitations are allowed to watch the waltz.
Boy, are you one of the staff? Is the wedding ready to begin?
Ready to begin? Goodness gracious, but I haven't found my Bible!
Sorry, I'm just a guest too. I don't think the wedding's happening until later tonight. Or not at all, if everything went to plan.
Just enough time for another drink, then.
I'd previously seen small pots hung in fireplaces like this contained water in order to humidify the room, especially when tobacco was being smoked. In this case, however, the pot was empty. The trophy room was warmed by the fireplace, within which hung a small brass pot. Four animal heads protruded from the wall like those. After my escapades with the fish and its hidden horseshoe, I had had quite enough of taxidermied animals. After my escapades with the fish and its hidden horseshoe, I had had quite enough of taxidermied animals. The empty glass was best left where it was. The empty glass was best left where it was. It was a lone glass sitting on the coffee table. It certainly hadn't been holding coffee. Good evening.
Hello, my child.
Oh, don't get him going again.
And what is your name?
Murphy McAllen.
Hello, Murphy. I am Father Foskett, spiritual shepherd of St. Juniper's Parish. Have you seen the good book?
I'm not the most religious person, but I have read parts.
No, I mean that rather more literally. I've lost my Bible and have no idea where I put it. Have you seen it?
I haven't, I'm afraid.
Pity.
Are you here for the wedding?
I am officiating the wedding. With everything that's gone on in the house, we must thank God we have someone like me to keep us on a righteous path.
I've been told that Abigail Belmore doesn't really want to marry Rackham. You need to call the wedding off.
We shall stick to the system, young Mr. McAllen. Objections should be heard during the ceremony, not before, when all parties may articulate their feelings on the matter. These things are greater than you and I, you know. Until then, we must treat the wedding as the joyous occasion it is.
What do you think of Abigail Belmore?
A little headstrong, in my opinion, but a lovely young lady. I baptized her, you know. She grabbed my nose as I held her over the font, right up the left nostril. Wouldn't let go until her brothers distracted her with a teddy bear. Still, she's a very caring girl.
Just not to ecclesiastical noses. Is St. Juniper's your church?
That's right, young man. A beacon of godliness on an otherwise spiritually desolate isle.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think St. Juniper's been taken over by rum runners.
Criminals? In my church? Good God! They must be removed immediately.
Let's not be too hasty. They sound like my type of gentleman. That's the type of church I can see myself attending.
I could do with less of your opinions, thank you. Many things can be preserved in alcohol, Colonel. Dignity is not one of them.
I'm not the most well-read on religion, but shouldn't you be in heaven now?
Gold standard question, my boy.
Well, I'll admit this isn't what I expected.
Perhaps the good book has some missing passages.
I think we can do without your theological input, Colonel.
Is there a way to fix it?
Well, that's precisely what I'm doing, young man, as we speak.
It looks like you're just sitting in an armchair.
You don't see the metaphorical cogs whirring around in my head, the tick and the tock of the thanatological matters in my mind. To the layman, I might appear to be just sitting in an armchair, but in reality, I am studying the Bible. Or at least I would be, if I hadn't lost it.
You've lost it, all right.
Do you think it might be voodoo keeping you here?
Voodoo is nothing but mumbo-jumbo misdirection. I fear we may be in limbo. Some devilish force has interrupted the supernatural order of things.
I think Rackham might be practicing black magic.
That is an extraordinary accusation. I refuse to hear another word of it. He is a God-fearing man who always attends the sailors' services, and he has donated generously to the church. And my vacation fund. The culprit here is that awful sailor Abigail was going to marry. It is precisely because Miss Belmore's marriage to Mr. John Rackham was interrupted that we are still here. And why we must continue the wedding as planned tonight. It shall be our way out. God be with you.
Good evening.
Good evening, my boy. I'm afraid you'll have to speak up. Old army injury, you see. Care to join me for a drink?
Colonel Bloom, how many times must I warn you about your predilection for hard drinking?
It's not hard drinking. It's very easy. What do you say, my boy? You care for a nip?
I probably shouldn't. I'm a little preoccupied at the moment.
Well, don't go saving it for the toast. You'll be waiting decades.
See? This is what I was talking about. This is the kind of ungracious, ungentlemanly behavior that will spell your doom, Colonel.
Stop trying to threaten me with eternal damnation, Foskett. If it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. I'm pretty sure I'm dead at this moment, and I don't see any evidence of women playing harps, just you harping on at me.
Did you see much action in the army?
I killed 4 men.
From food poisoning, Colonel Bloom's title is an honorary one for services to catering.
The Cattle King's what they called me. I owned farms from New Orleans to Tallahassee. Beef, leather, dairy. It was a roaring trade.
Or at least a mooing one.
Those cows, they were my army. I tell you, everything a man needs can be provided by a good troop of cows.
Herd of cows.
Of course I've heard of cows. I was just talking about them.
What are you drinking, Colonel?
Good hearty rum. It'll put fire on your chest and hair in your belly. Wait.
And perhaps it is time to consider whether you have drunk too much of it, Colonel. Or perhaps give it up altogether.
I could easily give up alcohol. I've already done it hundreds of times.
I think you'll find the time between one glass and the next does not count as teetotalism. Perhaps we should be grateful to the Lord that your glass remains empty.
Are you looking forward to the wedding?
I'm looking forward to it being over. In my opinion, being stood up at the altar for 33 years is a pretty bad sign. Not what strong relationships are made of.
And you should know, Colonel. You've only had hundreds of them.
Do you think the bride and groom should be together?
That Rackham's a slimy character, and no mistake. Oh, by God, he's a good businessman. Trickier than a magician's rabbit that's gotten stuck on a particularly difficult crossword puzzle. But all that don't amount to a hill of beans if you're not enjoying life. I don't know whether to hate the guy or envy him.
Both are sins, I think you'll find, Colonel.
And not even the best ones. Do you know what's wrong with society nowadays, Murphy? Drink, guns, and women. There's just not enough time for them all.
Have you ever married, Colonel?
Oh, yes. I've been married for 47 years.
Yes, but to 9 different women.
It still counts.
His shortest marriage was 2 days, and that's only because they couldn't find him to serve the annulment papers.
I ended up in a bordello in East Nevada with half the members of the Albuquerque Militia Marching Band. Best honeymoon I've been on. Some lovely girls.
Lord forgive him, for he knows not what he does.
That's not what the girls were telling me.
Do excuse me. I'll be back.
At your leisure, my boy. I have nowhere to go and nothing to do.
idle hands are the devil's playthings.
Try idling your mouth for a change, you old curmudgeon. That is an insult to my honor. I didn't know you had any honor left to insult.
Boys, you don't want to be fighting over little old me.
Tallulah, this man is nothing but a scoundrel. Then you, brother, are a no-good fraud.